What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Corey, and I'm here with another episode of Tea and Worship. Now, look, I already know what you're thinking. You just see me, right? You don't see my co-host, Mignon. Yes, she is not here. Of course, she is a local celebrity, so she's out singing her face off somewhere as we speak right now. So, yes, I miss her. I know you miss her, but she will be back. Don't worry about it. She's not gone. She's just temporarily not here for right now. However, I got it today. I'm gonna hold it down for you, I promise. But what I wanna do first and foremost is thank you. Thank you so much for rocking with us all this time for this season, making sure that you are keeping it locked right here on Tea and Worship every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hope TV. I wanna make sure that you're doing this. You're subscribing right now, that you're hitting that bell, that you're getting alerts from us, and that you're also giving us your comments, letting us know where you're watching from, letting us know what you think about the show, who you want to see on the show. We want to hear from you, all right? So, because we can't do this without you. Now, without further ado, we got to get back into what we do best, and that is our guest. Today, we have somebody that is amazing, and somebody that we truly call here at Tea and Worship a friend, is none other than the Darius Paulk. Now, he is a songwriter, he is a musician, he is a worship leader, he has been doing music pretty much all his life, and he has one of the biggest hits ever in gospel music, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So I want you to welcome to Tea and Worship the wonderful Darius Paulk. What's up, sir?
What's up?
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So Darius, I don't know if you know this, but this has been, since our first season, we've been talking about having you on our show.
Yeah, I finally made it.
Yeah, and so we finally got you here. And one thing that Mignon and I discussed is, like, you know, we talked about certain people that we knew and people that we know as friends as well, who we were like, you know, who is that person that we want on the show? And you're one of those names that came up. And one thing that I just talked about at the top of the show was your hit, Nobody Greater. I don't know, unless you under a rock, you should know the song Nobody Greater. That was written by this man right here. And that was written in 2008, if I'm not mistaken,
2008,
right?
yes.
So please tell us and tell the people viewing where that song came from, what place you were in when you wrote it, like how did that even come about in the first place?
Thank you guys for having me on, first of all. Mignon, we miss you. We'll see you soon.
We do.
Nobody Greater. I was broke, dead broke. Going through, I had lost my job. My roommate at the time lost his job, same day. My car, it was just a very, very terrible day. And I remember walking down to the corner store because my grandmother was Western Unioning me money. It was before Cash App, before Zelle, before all of those, you know, all of those convenient apps that we have now. My grandmother Western Union me some money, $50.
Y'all know nothing about that.
And I was walking back from the store and I just started like praying. And by the time I got back home, that Nobody Greater was the part that I had. Wow. And then I got in the shower and, you know, kept on working on it, and the rest is history.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I remember first hearing that song, and it's like, I think this one thing that's great about some songs that are just like that last forever. They aren't so like intricate or so like much going on. Like they really are simple. The message is very clear, and that's one thing I love about that song. And I remember when Vashawn Mitchell, of course, you know, had it out, and it was just playing everywhere, playing in every church. Everybody was singing it. Like it was constantly playing in my head all the time. With you know, having such success with a song like that, and then it went on to win a Stellar Award as well. Is there pressure on you to, you know, keep writing songs like that? Is that tough for you?
Admittedly, because it happened so fast, it did mess me up a little bit, a little bit at first, because there was that pressure to recreate, you know, that or do it again or try to top, you know, Nobody Greater. And for a long time, it made me kind of go into a shell almost. And there was a point where I really wasn't doing a lot of writing. I was, you know, more so just singing because of that pressure. But I just had to kind of get free from that. When I wrote Nobody Greater, I was in the country or across the world. And I had to take time to kind of get back to what mattered. So yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's the best thing about it, though. You weren't looking or seeking for anything in particular. It just was the place that you were in, so
Yeah.
it was honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it has resonated with so many people. So it totally makes sense. Now, I want to talk about, I got into, your hit song, of course, but I want to kind of get into more of who Darius is. I know you're a country boy. You're from Douglas, Georgia.
Douglas, Georgia.
Can you tell us about your upbringing and how that really shaped who you are musically right now?
Like you said, I'm from South Georgia, Douglas, Georgia, down at the bottom of
Yeah,
Georgia,
Florida
an
almost.
hour from Florida. So very, I had a great childhood. I was speaking with some friends of mine recently, and we were just kind of talking about, not really being, braggadocious or anything, but just kind of really weighing, measuring our childhood based up against, people that were, less fortunate or from the same areas as us. Like we had really great childhood, a really great childhood. Shout out to my parents and my grandparents and the village. But my upbringing was simple. Football games,
That's it.
church on Sundays, choir anniversaries, a trip every once in a while. Just very, very simple.
Sounds familiar.
I thank God for being reared in such a small town because I got a chance to really learn people, really learn how to foster relationships because, in small towns, you're going to see, like, if you have a problem with somebody, you're going to see them
Can't avoid
at
it.
some point in Walmart or in Harvey's or something.
Oh, yes.
So, it teaches you how to resolve conflict and, just really kind of foster long-lasting relationships. The friends that I had when I was growing up, I still have them same
Wow.
5 friends.
That's great.
We've been friends since elementary school. So I had a great upbringing.
I love that.
Yeah, I've been singing since the age of 2, 2 or 3, one of them. Writing songs since 16. So my family is very musical. They've always encouraged me to kind of really dive into my creativity. So great upbringing.
Wow. I didn't know that you had been writing. I knew you've been writing for years, of course, but I didn't know you've been writing since you were a teenager. So with that, what is your writing process like? Do you have a dream and you're like, oh, I need to write this song, or is it just something that comes up in certain times, or like, I know like earlier you talked about like you were going through a very tough time, and does it come out of like pain sometimes? Like how do the songs usually come about?
I'm inspired, all of my music is inspired by just my life, what I go through, what makes me laugh, what makes me cry, what makes me upset, in particular about, just gospel music, what I want to say to God, what I want to, what kind of strength I want to convey to the people who listen. So my process is, my creativity comes from my life. My process is, it's kind of scattered. It's all over the place. Sometimes I can write a whole double disc album, if I'm driving.
What?
Yeah. I just, just from song to song. Like, I have in my phone right now, like, hundreds of voice notes, just of songs that I just haven't finished. So my song, they come to me all the time, but it's just a matter of me prioritizing and actually sitting down and finishing. But the process is, you can say something that catches me, or I've been in church with, Pastor Smith, and he said something really powerful, and then I'll go home, I write it down in my phone, and go home and just work on it, or something will come to me. So it's different. If I'm in motion, if I'm by the water, I always feel the most inspired, but my process is really all over the place.
So are you one of those writers that's a perfectionist where like if you are working on something and it's just like not right, you will change it all together then do something else, or like is it pretty much simple for you?
It's simple, well, both at the same time, because I am a perfectionist, and it's also simple. But I feel like if it doesn't hit me in the right places, that I probably just need to kind of keep working on it, or go back to it, or leave and come back to it, so I can have a fresh mind, fresh ears, fresh eyes. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to get back to this man of God because we have so much more with Darius Paulk here on Tea and Worship. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
this was about 2 weeks ago when I hooped. Of course, I got my content. Won't he make a way out of no
Oh, yeah.
way? Right? So they're connecting, with the sermon, with the lyrics of the sermon, but they're also connecting with the note, and I know it, and I can feel when when we're connected. When you're dating, there's a connection. When there's chemistry, and hooping, it's not just jazz, it's not just soul, but it's a connection that the preacher has with his or her audience, and it's amazing.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
And so home health care, I want to give you some words to share with our community.
Well, home health care meets you where you are, and we care for you where you call home. And we're there to provide the skilled care that you need to get you back to where you're able to do the things you used to do.
Welcome back to Tea and Worship with your boy Corey. No mignon, but don't worry about it, she'll be back. And we have our special guest, Darius Paulk, with us today. And Darius, we were just talking about, of course, your writing process and what you go through with that and your upbringing as well. But I really want to talk about just how, you've been influenced, in the music industry. I know your family has been a big influence and had a lot to do with, who you are as a musician. But who, as a child, or even like now, are those people that like your go-to musicians that that you get inspiration from all the time?
I tell people all the time, my mother was diehard. She wouldn't let us listen to any R&B, like none
Really?
of that. None of that until like Waiting to Exhale, the soundtrack.
Oh, that was a movie.
Right. But my dad was a DJ. So he would always be playing like Sade and
crazy.
Gerald Levert and Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. Like on Saturday, when I was with my dad, I was listening to all of the oldies and the goodies. On Sunday at my grandma's house, it's all Bobby Jones gospel. And when I was with my mom, she has a very eclectic taste. We used to listen to like Carmen and Dawkins. It would range from Carmen, Dawkins and Dawkins, and who's my favorite? Oh my God, she loves her to this day. Just wanna pray. Maurette Brown Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom, she used to love like music like that. Helen Baylor.
Okay.
So stuff like that. Good gospel music with like a little twist.
So you had a little mix.
Yeah, a good little mix.
That makes sense because if I had to describe, your vocals or your sound, you have like a rich, melodic velvet. We call you the velvet voice. We joke all the time and call him that. And I know that, just naming some of those people that you just said, it makes sense because you have that mix of, because you can get straight gospel on us and quartet on us, but there's that almost like an R&B edge to your voice.
Yes.
And when I met you, it was more through you as a worship leader. And I know that you can attest to this. Sometimes being a worship leader, you have to go into environments that are unfamiliar.
Yes.
Where you might go to a place where you don't know the people, you don't know the musicians, you don't know the singers, you don't know anybody, and it's like, we need you to lead worship. Can you tell us what that's like and how you kind of get through times like that?
It is. I tell people that I get nervous, especially with House of Hope. Oh my God, House of Hope. His family. I love House of Hope.
I remember his first few Sundays. It was It was
You know,
interesting.
but I had come from, like I said, I come from a small town. I had never sang in front of that many people.
Gotcha.
You know, like when the top tier,
Right.
like people's all.
That third
so
row.
I'm just like, you know, so I used to get really, really nervous. But the more I, you know, would kind of be a part, I would get more comfortable. It is very nerve-wracking to go into a place where you don't know anybody, you don't know the spirit of the house. But, you know, as I have matured over the years, I realized that we are all serving the same, you know, the same God. We should be, you know, at least worship. Now, you know, you might have different practices in different churches, but at least worship should be, you know, kind of uniform throughout the entire body, because we're worshiping the same God.
Right.
So I don't get as nervous anymore because I know, you know, who I'm connected to. But it used to be, you know, extremely nerve-wracking to go into because you don't know. Growing up, you know, I was, you know, Baptist, you know. So I know Baptist people, you know. Then when I came to college, I joined the Church of God in Christ.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know, you know, culture people and apostolic people. I know, you know, I know the different, you know, the different way that the services are supposed to flow. So I think just those experiences have kind of helped me become more comfortable with just going into any atmosphere, invoking the presence of God.
Okay, so that's interesting you say that, and I mean, it's so true. And then the crazy thing about church, too, people have their picks and chooses of who
Yes.
they want to hear.
Yes.
And so it can be a daunting task when you're the worship leader and they're like, who is this? You know,
Right.
and they're looking at you crazy. And you still like, I got a job to do, you know. But you talked about the fact that you were at the Church of God in Christ at the Citadel, the world-famous Citadel
World
here in
famous
Atlanta.
Citadel.
And you were under the leadership of Pastor Nathan Simmons.
Yes.
And I know that Maurice Culpepper was the minister of music and a big influence on
Yes,
you,
very
America. I call her America, but that's Marika Chisholm, and Zeb as well. But I wanted you to kind of talk about that experience and how that helped to shape who you are as well as a singer and a worship leader.
Maurice Franklin Culpepper is one of the greatest people that has ever breathed air. I appreciate him so much because coming from a small town, you know, I was, you know, the big fish in a small pond, you know, pretty much as it relates to, you know, just singing and, you know, just the talent, you know, from where I was from.
Right.
Talented people where I'm from, you know, I say everybody can sing in Douglas. But I needed to get out of that so I could, you know, learn more about the industry that I wanted to be a part of. And Uncle Maurice, where we call him, was very instrumental in that. But he was instrumental in the sense that he wasn't really concerned with the music side of things. He knew that would happen, but he was more interested in my character in the, you know, as it relates to the music. Because, you know, a lot of people can be talented. A lot of people can be very savvy in the industry, but, you know, character-wise, you know, maybe a little questionable. But he was really, really big on, you know, with all of us, not just me, being integral, being full of character, and just being a good person. You know, like if you're gonna sing gospel music, you need to kind of exude, you know, some of the things that gospel, you know, promotes.
Right.
So he was very instrumental in shaping me as the man that I am today. Because, like I said, he wasn't enamored by my gifts at all. He was more so concerned about how is your heart, how is your soul, you know, how are you emotionally, you know, how much money you got saved in the bank. You know, he was more concerned with those life things that we as creatives sometimes kind of throw to the back burner until it's too late.
That's so interesting that you say that too, because I think a lot of times, kind of like what you're saying, like people get enamored by the gifts, and even the musician or the singer or, you know, artists themselves sometimes get lost in that, you know,
in that
adulation
hype.
from people and that hype. Yeah, and so it's just not even about being a good person. It's not about being integral. It's about, listen, I can sing y'all under the table.
Yeah.
That's good enough, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so great that he instilled those things in you all, especially at that time, because I think it makes sense to how you are, because you are very, if y'all don't know, y'all see him sing, he sing his face off, but Darius is shy and quiet, and he don't like big crowds, and Darius does what he has to do, and he like, all right, y'all. But, you know, he's humble, and he's like good people. So I think that helped a lot. That definitely helped a lot being there. But one thing I want to know, because you've written for, different artists. You've written for Jason Nelson, Tamala Mann, Marvin Sapp, I read, like a few people. Is there somebody that's like your dream collaboration or the dream person that you would love to write for?
And I only hesitate because there's so many on the list, but it is one of my dreams to work with Karen Clark Sheard, Dorinda Clark Cole, and Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
Those are like my top three. So yeah, whichever one comes first. But I have loved the Clark sisters, of course. Are a staple in just gospel music and in my gospel music journey. And Jasmine Sullivan is, my God, she's just Jasmine Sullivan. Like from the first time she kind of stepped on the scene, I have been a diehard fan of hers. So that's one of my big time goals is to work with Jasmine Sullivan on something. I don't care if it's an Easter.
I think anybody that's got any sense that's a writer would want to work with her because she is amazing.
Yeah.
So, you're a writer, you're a singer. If you had to choose one or the other, and I know that's hard, would you be able to do so, and what would you choose, if so?
I really like I love singing. Singing is it's innate. It's a gift that was given to me by God. But I love the creative process of putting together a song, getting with the musician and fashioning the accompaniment to it, and then seeing how it affects people in a space. So if I had to choose, I believe I would probably just be a writer because I really do love the creative process of writing. But I love
baby
singing.
come to life.
Yeah, I can't get away from singing.
He can do both equally as well, so it's all right. But we're going to stick a pin in it right here. You better not go anywhere because we're going to be right back with more Tea and Worship and Darius Paulk. So stay right here.
We're showing you how to make yellow rice today. Nice fluffy rice. Look at that beauty.
Now we're gonna smother these ribs. We're gonna let them cook for about 45 minutes or so. I want them so tender, meat falling off the bone.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
You cannot have a narcissistic personality disorder classification unless you have a classification for a personality disorder. As far as personality traits are concerned, our personality traits are who we are, how we are, why we are. Personality traits are not an issue until they become maladaptive, inflexible, or distressed.
What's going on? We are back with more Tea and Worship with our special guest, Darius Paulk. Now, Darius, I definitely want to talk about this because I remember your album Strong came out in 2020.
Yes.
I remember being at the album release concert. First of all, the album, if you don't have it, I don't know what's wrong with you. It is awesome from the rooter to the tutor, I promise you. And I don't say that about everybody's stuff. Like, it really is good from the top to the bottom. And I'm mad that we ain't, what's the first song? The praise team needs to do that.
Name of Our God.
Name of Our God. I'm trying to figure out why you have never let us sing that. But anyway, we'll talk about that after the show. But one thing I want to talk about is that album came out, and unknowingly, unbeknownst to all of us, the pandemic, I know that's a dirty word, happened. How did that affect that album in any way, or how did it affect your career at that time?
It affected it in the sense that I couldn't go and promote it. It also helped it in a sense because we were forced into a digital space. So we couldn't go anywhere.
I remember the guy was making videos.
We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do. I couldn't get to people to kind of get in front of them to showcase this amazing album. That I had just put out. But I think it was good and bad. The good part was the pandemic pushed us into a digital space, so people were streaming it, left and right. So it got a lot of streams. But as it relates to me getting out into the community and showcasing the album and traveling and doing all that stuff, we're kind of just getting back to normal as it relates to that. So.
Man,
pandemic.
Pandemic, but I'm telling you, get this album. You have to. Now, before we go, I definitely want to talk about something that you enlightened me about, is the fact that you have a Christmas single. Because have you done any Christmas? Okay, good. Well, good. You have a Christmas single. He has a Christmas single coming out in November.
Yes.
Called Go Tell It. Can you please tell the audience about that?
Go Tell It is it's an adaptation of that old school Christmas hymn, Go Tell It on the Mountain. It's a, you know me. Well, and y'all will grow to know me or come to know me. But I'm always gonna choose real groovy, real laid back. So it's one of those, but it's got some of those high gospel churchy notes that I think everybody has come to appreciate. So it's good.
I can't wait. I cannot
I'm excited.
wait because I don't know. I just love Christmas anything. So Christmas music always excites me. So now we're gonna get to the section of the show that I know that y'all been waiting on. It's one of our favorite sections, Mignon's most favorite section. If she was here, she'd be going crazy right now, especially because it's Darius. But we're gonna do our favorite section called Church That Hook. Now, Darius, if you don't know, Church That Hook is basically where we're gonna give you a song and we need you to church it. No matter how you want to church it, you can change the lyrics if you want to. You can keep the lyrics, but we just need you to church it, whether that's quartet, CCM it, worship style, Baptist style, whatever. All right. Okay. So the first song that we've chosen for you to church is "He Is," which really is a gospel song because it was written for that reason anyway, by Brandy. And don't act like you don't know it because I know you do.
Oh my goodness! So Church That Hook, Prince Charming, my angel, my king and my friend, my lover, my one. He is the beat in my heart, the kiss on my lips, my lover, my one. He is.
Y'all hear that velvet? Y'all hear that velvet in his throat? I told y'all. It's the velvet. He got the velvet in his throat. All right, and so the other song that we have for Church That Hook that we want you to do is Stevie Wonder, "Sunshine of My Life."
Oh my God. Y'all calling me out.
Well, we trying. That's what we do. You got to be on your toes for Church That Hook.
Oh my goodness. You are the sunshine of my life. I don't even know all of it. I'm sorry. I can hum it.
Always be around. That's why you always be around. You are the apple of my eye.
Apple of my eye. See, he gave it to me.
Okay, I got one more if I got time.
Okay.
I got one more. And the other one I have is Teddy Pendergrass, "Turn Off the Lights."
Turn off the lights. Light a candle. Bum, 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 bum. Some. I don't know. Sorry, Dad.
Don't worry about it.
I should know Teddy Pendergrass.
That's all right,
That's
because
my
Mignon
granddad
don't
in
know
my
no
head.
lyrics either, so don't feel bad about it. Man, we want to thank you so much, Darius,
Thank you
for being
having me.
here
This was
for
fun.
Tea and Worship. This was fun. It went by like super fast
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's so many other things that I would love to ask him and love to know. But I want to thank you so much for being here for us. Mignon, I'm sorry that you missed out, but we'll get him back when you're here. But before we go, I want you to please tell everybody, tell that camera how they can reach you by social media and anything that you want them to know, just an encouraging word that you want to leave with the people.
I'm pretty simple on all my social media. It's at Darius Paulk on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, at Darius Paulk, Darius Paulk, because y'all will spell it Pope. So Darius Paulk. I guess if I had to encourage anybody in this time, it would be, very simple. Just keep living, keep thriving, keep holding on, because what we know about life is it always gets better. So keep going.
It always gets better. Remember that. So we want to thank our special guest today, Darius Paulk. Mignon, we love you. We miss you. But we also want to thank all of you for watching. Make sure that you come right back here every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on The Hope TV for more Tea and Worship with Corey and Mignon. We will be back with another great artist. But before we totally go today, we're going to shoot over to a performance by Darius Paulk. So keep it locked right here and have a great night, you all. Peace.
I've got something to say, and I really want the world to know is that you have me forever and always. And if I had a measuring tape and every ruler from across the globe, it still couldn't measure the length of my love. And if everybody walks away, I promise you my love will stay. It's just what I am supposed to do for all those times you pulled me through. My love goes on and 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 on forever and always. My love goes on and 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 on forever and always. There's only but so many hours in the day, so let me take a minute and share my heart. Oh God, you have me forever completely. And I would walk 1,000,000,000 miles just to be by your side. I'd do it for you, Lord. I'd do it for you. And I would live 1,000 lifetimes for the opportunity to make you smile. I'll do it for you, Lord. I'd do it for you. Everybody wants away. I promise my love. Oh, for all those times you pulled me through, my love goes on. It goes on. My love forever and always. My love goes. It'll never stop. you got it forever. You've got my love forever.